Hi, my name's Lance King. Like many of you, I've not always had great credit. I tried using a credit repair company and had less than stellar results. What I found is, for the most part, these companies are nothing more than letter-writing dispute companies. Letters that, quite frankly, you could write for yourself and get very similar results. Well, today I'm here to talk with you about a much better way of truly repairing your credit. It's called legal credit repair. Now, legal credit repair is so good, so reliable, so predictable. We stand behind our service with a complete 100% money-back guarantee. We guarantee to remove a minimum of at least 60% of all negative items from your credit report, or you get your money back. Now, 93% of our clients will experience that result in only 60 to 90 days. And our clients, on average, will experience an 80 to 120 point increase in their credit score in that same 60 to 90 day period. We don't stop there, however. We will continue to work your file for a full 6 months for maximum results. Now, what is legal credit repair? What do we do? How do we get such amazing results in only 60 to 90 days? I'm going to go through that with you in detail. Before I do, however, take just a moment right now, pause this video. And while it's paused, get a pen and a piece of paper so that you can write down notes and questions as we go along. All right, welcome back. Now, the first thing you need to write down on that piece of paper is how to get a hold of me directly. You can email me directly at lkglobalcreditrepair@gmail.com. I'll say it one more time. lkglobalcreditrepair@gmail.com. All right, now, basically there are 3 primary bodies of law that govern everything the credit bureaus do. We have the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, and then state-by-state statute of limitations on debts and collections. Now, these are all consumer protection laws. That's the good news. Unfortunately, they are also consumer enforcement laws. What that means is you may need to sue your way into justice. In other words, there are no credit police for you to call. You would need to sue the credit bureaus, collection agencies, collection attorneys, even your individual creditors to get relief. Now, the problem with this is they will have millions to spend, and I'm going to guess you may not. So what can you do? Well, you could hire a private attorney to represent you. Well, the downside to that option is they're usually going to want an upfront retainer, maybe a couple $1,000s, and they usually bill around $250 an hour. If you had that kind of money to spend, you probably would not need the credit repair to begin with. So now what? Well, that's where we come in. You see, we have put together a network of credit repair firms and attorneys across the nation to engage the credit bureaus on your behalf. Now, what exactly do they do? How do we get those results that I talked about earlier? Well, remember those 3 bodies of law that I just mentioned? Well, the most important of those 3 is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, the whole reason the Fair Credit Reporting Act came into existence was the credit bureaus were being sued for libel. And they lobbied Congress and said, hey, we are merely a third-party reporter of the facts, and we shouldn't be held accountable for the accuracy of the information in the report. They basically wanted to wiggle out of their responsibility to actually tell the truth and wanted a little something to hide behind. And you know what? Congress gave it to them. It's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. What Congress decided is that if the bureaus in the reporting of that information would greatly include you, the consumer, and give you ample opportunity to challenge and correct information before, during, and after becoming publicly available on your credit report, then they would be immune from libel suits. Now, you've probably heard that if the information contained in your credit report is accurate, there's nothing you can do about it. You may have even heard this from the credit bureaus themselves. The problem is they don't bother to define accuracy for you. You see, they want you to look at your report and think, well, it says I was 30 days late, and I really was 30 days late, so I guess there's nothing I can do about it. But under the law, accuracy is not defined merely by the facts, but also by the process followed in the recording of those facts. The Fair Credit Reporting Act contains numerous statutes and provisions that give an outline and a detail of the exact process that the credit bureaus and your creditors must follow before, during, and after making anything publicly available on your credit report. Now the big question becomes, did they follow the law, every single statute, and can they prove it? I can tell you the answer is almost always absolutely not. And the burden of proof lies with them, not you, the consumer. Let me give you an example of what we're talking about. One of those provisions in the Fair Credit Reporting Act is called the right to due process. What it says is that you must be given written notice 30 days prior to any negative entry being publicly available on your credit report, giving you 30 days to stop or correct that information before becoming public. And they must give you detailed instructions how to do exactly that. They can do this through registered or certified mail. Now, have you ever received a letter like that? I highly doubt it. I certainly never have. You see, what usually happens is they simply push a button and the information is on your report for the world to see. Usually unverified, often inaccurate, and sometimes illegal. And that violates the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And because they did not follow the exact process outlined in the law, that information now becomes inaccurate, regardless of the facts. If someone says something bad about you, it darn well better be true. If not, they've slandered you. Now, if that slander is written down and made public, they've libeled you. Now, if that libel cost you anything, such as paying a higher interest rate on a loan or being turned down for credit altogether, that libel becomes actionable. That means you can sue them, and you can sue the credit bureaus too. And their only defense is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Did they follow every single statute, and can they prove it? Now, when presented with the proper legal challenge, the credit bureaus basically have two options: admit it or deny it. Now, if they deny the allegations, in essence what they're saying is the information is accurate, they followed every single statute, and they're ready to prove it. Now, if they go to court because they get sued and they win, all they win is they get their court costs paid, their attorney fees paid, and the item stays on the report. Basically nothing. Now, if they go to court because they get sued and they lose, they have to pay you your court costs, your attorney fees, $1,000 per item up to $25,000, and any actual monetary losses suffered as a result of the information being publicly available. If they admit the allegations, they have one remaining defense in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It is called the correction provision. What it says is if they simply remove the item from your credit report within 30 days, they are now immune from any further legal action on this matter. And therein lies legal credit repair. The credit bureaus are risking millions and millions of dollars with virtually nothing to gain, which is why often they will simply roll over, give up the item virtually every time. We give them the settlement of not suing, and everybody wins. Now you can see how and why we're able to get the amazing results we do. Why we're able to absolutely guarantee the minimum removal of 60% or more of your negative credit entries on your credit report, regardless of what they are, and raise on average your credit score 80 to 120 points in as little as 60 to 90 days. Get in touch with me right away and let's get you back on the road to great credit.